Well, Ron, this of course, this moment is sending a chill up my spine because we're here at View Road, Springvale, where I grew up. And you'll notice that they've got the crack house bars on the outside of it now, but in fact it was a very lovely place, and it was the place where we wrote our first song. I can't think of any other real significance other than just you know, the whole kind of cinema verite aspect of this DVD. Hopefully we'll get played at Cannes.
We could get played at Cannes, not Cannes in France, more Cannes the Tigers.
Yes.
What Dublin, I think, was to Joyce, what the Mississippi was to Twain, what Glen Archer's toilet was to Wayne Carey, I think this is to TISM.
The debating,
Pig on the spit.
the couples kissing on stage.
Well, this of course is the Sandown Park Greyhound track, where I worked for 9 years, and my specific role at this place was to pick up the dog shit with a very, very ergonomically designed shovel. And I think that's a very, very, that's a poignant image which runs through most of our work. You know, TISM is the ergonomically designed shovel collecting the dog shit of rock.
That's right. I mean, I think racing is the sport of kings. And we're talking Jet, of course, would be a racehorse.
Oh,
don't
absolutely,
you feel?
yes.
You know,
yes.
and then we have the great ennobling team sports like cricket and football, and we have equivalent bands there. I think Powderfinger would be more your cricket team with their...
creams, they'd be wearing creams.
They would
I
be
think,
wearing
yes.
creams,
Yeah.
you know. And of course, there are great bands that encapsulate the male bonding of football. We've got Hunters and Collectors and the whole post-punk. We have those little boys with
Bronski
spiky
beat.
hair, that sort of thing. Humphrey, Will and the Wrecker is a completely fictional character.
Yes.
And we're about to have an interview with Whelan, who, in his fictitious way, appeared with us during our very early phase, I remember.
Yes, during the seminal early period of our reunion tour, and you may in fact notice Will and the Wrecker's presence in some of the archival footage, a fleeting presence involved in the art of blowing up balloons and handing them to the audience, giving out fairy floss and so forth, but entirely fictitious, a cipher.
A Zephyr.
Well, the audiences at TISM gigs very early on, in fact, the people that revolted them was unfortunately the core of their audience, which became a bit of a problem because they wanted names on doors, everything, as you can imagine, because they had the hair, clothes, purple hair, green hair. But the saving grace in that, as soon as most of those arty, pretentious rock types, names on door types, once they got wind of actually what TISM were doing, they couldn't get out in the car park quick enough to get in their Volvos and scoot off back to Brunswick and stuff. So that left the door wide open for all the knobs from Frankston, Glen Waverley, Springvale, which was good because they didn't care what they paid. They bought the merchandise, beat up each other in the car park. They basically were for a good time. It was like a suburb comes to the city type affair. It was great for the band, and they've been living off it ever since.
Motormouths.
The fake opera audience.
Fake telethon.
TISM have held up a mirror to the Australian music industry, and I think it's been good for music in this country. They've got a lot of fans. I mean, they've got fans in other sort of poppy alternative bands, or alternative's not really the word anymore to use for these guys, because they're about as commercial as you get. But like Frenzal Rhomb, Jebediah, bands like that are professed fans of TISM. Grinspoon, I think, are fans of TISM as well. There are a lot of bands that hate TISM. The guy from Not From There had some really nasty things to say about TISM, if I remember correctly. And obviously a lot of radio stations hate them, a lot of journalists can't stand them, and it's probably because This Is Serious Mum makes them look like dickheads.
Now, roughly about here was the home of a girl called Sandra Smallman. Now I say roughly about here on Princess Highway, Springvale, because I never actually went to her house. I bicycled past in abject loneliness a few times, and I wasn't exactly sure which one it was. Now, the point, of course, of me referring to this is because Sandra Smallman was the first girl who ever rejected me. And Sandra, if you're out there watching, I'd like to personally thank you, because that set a course of events in place, which led to me standing stupidly here today in this ridiculous costume. Because without rejection, I think I would have had a very happy and successful life. Sandra, of course, at the time, I nearly managed to plant a kiss on her in the slow dance at the Springvale Youth Club that night, but she pulled back at the last second and said to me, "Humphrey, I want you to form an ill-conceived rock band, combining elements of techno and garage punk, which will ultimately lead you nowhere."
Sandra, of course, still lives here. She's
Yes.
115 stone, and she does wash herself with a rag on a stick.
The two TISM bands playing at once.
The goat. What we're entering in here is the suburban block with the swimming pool. And I think that signature, the swimming pool, does put a dividing line between the world we've just come out of, the Springvale world, with the racing and the greyhounds and the crack horse, and we're here up to the swimming pool world, which has got your chlorine, your alkali testing,
That's very
nice
true.
golden retriever dogs, and your crack horse.
Yes. Although a very much more, polite and diffident crack whore.
Well, Humphrey, it's mediocrity, but it's a better class of mediocrity. If I can just get our cameraman to centre in on the neatly stacked hose there, with its gardenia system all worked out, and the beautifully painted archway, the security alarm. Basically what we're doing here at Wheelers Hill is guarding ourselves against the very sort of people we were filming down at Springvale. We're no better than them. It's all drug money, it's all cocaine money. But it's carefully disguised cocaine money, and that's what makes the difference, I think, Humphrey.
Now, Ron, there is, of course, a legend associated with TISM, and that is the tragic legend of Jean Robigood. Jean Robigood left TISM due to increasing bouts of sanity. That is in fact the rock rumour.
It's rather like the Pink Floyd boy.
Yeah, Sid Barrett. We don't really want to speak ill of Jean Robigood. We would like not to bring shame to his family, but let it just be said that there came a point when we realised that he was actually smart and longed for a life of happiness.
Contentment,
Yeah.
family, kitchens, the whole suburban nightmare. Genre, your nakedness was a big part of your art. We're wondering if you could explain your views about nakedness and its relationship to the TISM corpus.
Yeah, well, Ron, it's got to remember that we're all nude under our clothes.
20 guitarists playing one note.
The guys hitting golf balls into the crowd.
The problem about Fiscarello, though, the whole thing was director's cut. There was no proper cut. There was no audience cut. What's wrong with an audience cut these days? That's what we need. What about this? This is a whole new radical introduction to French cinema. A bit for the audience, not for the director. Has anyone heard of that? Why can they make a DVD where the edges aren't sharp so it doesn't hurt when you're wiping your ass?
The tricycles.
The white goods instead of amps.
The washing lines full of washing.
The fake encores.
The rubbish bins.
The onstage auction.
The guys playing cards.